Namaste to everyone. Namaste Kumar Bhaiya. Good morning. Welcome to the morning session.
Namaste Bhaiya, namaste everyone. I hope I'm properly audible Bhaiya.
Ji Bhaiya, you are clearly audible.
Ji. So we had taken this assignment yesterday. I'll read it out. Reflect on the activity of contemplation and understanding within yourself. Check within. Are you seeing your relatedness with others, or are you focusing on the differences between yourself and others? With the activity of contemplation, we see our relatedness with others, and our focus shifts from expecting others to change to seeing what I can do to help the other. Note that this is only possible when we are in harmony within, we are comfortable within. Also reflect on the activity of understanding, which is seeing the harmony in every unit in nature. Today, throughout the day, observe your relationship with other human beings, within the family, at work, with friends, with relatives, etc. Reflect on your role in your relationship with them. Also observe the harmony in nature around you and your role there. Note down your observation in your journal. So we are discussing the higher activities of the self, and we are trying to look into the activities, and based on the development of these activities, how our living is going to be, how our imagination is going to be, is something that we are trying to make out. We have discussed the activities contemplation, understanding, and realization. So we are also trying to make out the meaning of these activities. We are trying to see whether these activities are getting activated in us or not. So based on the discussion that we had yesterday and the exercise that you did yesterday, so if there is any question, any reflection, you can raise your hand and ask. Today Gopal Bhaiya is not available, so I will be conducting the session. Yeah. Any question, any concern, anything to share regarding the assignment yesterday, you may kindly raise your hand and share. So we had to reflect on two activities, contemplation and understanding. Contemplation is to see the relationship, the participation in the larger order, isn't it? So we are very much related. This will gradually see that being in space, we are very much related. So I'm related to other human beings. I'm related to other units in the nature. Now we can start observing this relationship. We'll see that most of the time we are disturbed by the lack of fulfillment in relationship, either within the family or at workplace or in some other interactions. And most of the time we are bothered about it. We want to set things right, but we are not able to see our participation. So most of the time we are complaining about the other. We are trying to focus on the lack of competence in the other. And that's how our own participation does not get definite. So what is being said here is that when I try to work on the activity of contemplation, I'm able to see my relationship. And we can start from our close relationships. Am I related? I can ask myself, how I'm related? What is my relationship with the other person? What is my relationship with the other units in nature? I can start questioning like this. Okay. So if you make an appraisal of the current situation, mostly we find that I am expecting something from the other. And if that is not getting fulfilled, I am getting filled up with complaints. So most of the time, we are expecting in relationships, right? And when I'm trying to just expect in relationship and I'm not able to see my relationship as it is, there is no definiteness of fulfillment. There is no continuity of fulfillment. Okay. There is definitely no definite completion point. And I'm always looking outside for my happiness. And this is a very common problem. In place of deciding my role, mostly I am expecting from the other. Okay. I'm not able to see that I am myself responsible for my unhappiness because I'm trying to depend for my happiness on the other. Now, at the level of contemplation, it so happens that I'm able to see my relationship, my participation, and once activated, I'm always fulfilling it. So, being happy within, I'm fulfilling my relationship, and then I'm observing the behavior of the other, I'm observing the conduct of the other, and based on that, I'm again making the program to fulfill the relationship. So, I'm no more trying to be happy by looking outside. Okay. No more my happiness is based on expectation of fulfillment from the other side. Now, my expectation is guided by my contemplation. I look within whether I'm making the right selection or not. In place of expecting some taste from the behavior of the other, I now make the right selection from my side. The words that I have to use, the decisions that I have to make. This happens when I'm able to, you know, see the things at the level of contemplation.
जी भैया नमस्ते सभी को नमस्ते जी nowadays feeling means like this I am related with all means earlier it was there but slowly it is being increased and whatever being the condition outside now I am in Sarsatra at Bithur so whatever be the conditions here but it seems that they are all means they are not creating any what that is called as adverse effect it is actually improving the condition. So, Bhaiya, can we say that this contemplation has been started? We are moving from B2 to B1. Ji, Bhaiya. Thank you. Ji, please.
That you have to see within, but just by having a kind of conducive environment, you cannot say that the contemplation has begun. Okay. Basically, you have to look within.
Ji, ji.
You have to see whether you are able to see the participation naturally or not. So it
Ji.
may also be the effect of the environment outside. Now that you are attending a particular session and you are talking about harmony, we are talking about relationship. Okay. So it may be under the influence of the environment outside.
Ji, ji.
Now you have to look into your imagination, where your decisions are always guided by the feeling of relationship or sometimes relationship, sometimes opposition. If it is only under the influence of the environment outside, so your state may change. Once you are back and you are again caught up in your situation, right?
Routine activity. Ji, ji, ji. Yeah, yeah.
So your imagination may again get unguided.
Ji, 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 ji.
That you have to observe for yourself. Even now, okay, sitting there, if
Ji,
you are there with yourself and you observe your imagination, you can make out.
ji, ji.
You'll see that the streak of thoughts inside you. So initially, it is under the influence of the environment outside. But the more you try to look into your imagination, maybe your old preconditionings are surfacing. Okay.
Ji,
They are again influencing your imagination, your decisions, your thoughts. If that is the case, then I'll say that the contemplation is due. Another thing, it's not that contemplation takes place all at once. So I
okay.
start looking at the participation gradually and I'm able to contemplate on the naturally acceptable feelings. And that may happen one by one also.
Ji, ji, ji.
For someone, it happens all at once, well and good. Otherwise, in the process of self-exploration, I'm able to see my relationship. So I'm able
Ji,
to see the trust. I'm able to see the feeling of respect, right? And this is how gradually I'm able to move to block B1. Now,
ji,
whether I'm able to see the relationship with all, or I'm thinking about it,
ji,
or I have some good feeling about it, all
ji,
this you have to observe within yourself.
ji.
Nice, Bhuya.
Ji, भैया thank you. Thanks a lot. We'll be exploring more. Thank you. Namaste. Namaste सभी को.
Namaste.
Namaste सभी को.
Namaste.
Yesterday there was a meeting in my engineering college, And one of the department, that is computer department, reported me that only 10 students enrolled for implant training.
Which
Then
training?
implant training.
Okay.
As in summer vacation, they are going for implant training for
Yeah.
2 months. Then I said, why you are unable to guide the student that after implant training, they will get a very good jobs because they are now experienced for minimum for 2 years in the company. And I was just imagining that if they are not able to go for implant training, they will not get the job. And ultimately, their parents will suffer. I requested all staff that for God's sake, you must give them the guidance, talk to their parents that your ward is not going for implant training. Then suddenly I had decided myself to increase the competency of others rather than that I should do it. Then I told the HOD that bring the name of parents and their mobile number. I will convince them in front of you, and let us see how many students will be motivated and will go for implant training. Sir, is it the correct way of my presentation after completion and increasing their competency and my imagination for that level? Can you just explain me?
Yeah, first of all, we have to be clear why this implant training is required. Okay, so we have to look into the purpose of that, and we have to see whether it is in line with the purpose that they are assuming within themselves. We assume that if they go for implant training, then their placement would be nice. Okay, but they may have other alternatives also. They might feel that during this time I can do some other internship, or I can apply for jobs, or I can apply for higher studies, and they might not be doing. One thing. Second thing, it may be that they are conditioned now to sit in an office in an air-conditioned room and not go to the shop floor of any plant. So it may be the effect of some preconditioning or also an effect of sensation. Even by looking into the natural acceptance, it may be the case that they are not able to decide for it, because it may be the case that when they go for the training at the plant, okay, the behavior is not proper, or they are not given any valuable work to do, and only they have to pass their time. That may also be the case. So one may also think of utilizing the time rightly, and they may feel that going to the plant is not the right utilization. So all those possibilities are there. So I think that a better way is to get in dialogue with them, why they are not willing to go for the training, right?
Yes.
So whether they are under the influence of some sensation or preconditioning, or at the level of natural acceptance, they are deciding otherwise. We might also have assumed certain things. They are also under the effect of some assumptions. So unless we get into dialogue, we will not be able to reach a conclusion which is mutually fulfilling.
Correct, correct. Yes. Yes, yes.
Nice, nice, sir. Yeah.
जी भैया,
जी,
thank you. Namaste.
बढ़िया भैया, नमस्ते. Any other reflection or question? So let us keep on doing this. Let us, in fact, we are going to work at the level of feeling in exercise 1 and even in exercise 2. So we are going to work upon this more cohesively, consistently, very pinpointedly. I have to see my relationship, isn't it? So there is no other question. We'll go to the content part and start discussing. In the meantime, you can again raise your hand and then ask questions, whatever occurs to you. So imagination on the basis of realization, understanding, and contemplation. This is something that we had been discussing yesterday. And to understand it, we named the activities as activities of block B1 and block B2. So we can see that when block B1 is not activated and we are only operating at the level of block B2, then our imagination may be unguided. It may be under the influence of sensation of preconditioning and sometimes guided by natural acceptance. But if block B1 is not activated, that is also a very temporary kind of state when my imagination is guided by natural acceptance, and I may again get under the influence of preconditioning or sensation, and this may continue. If you remember, to begin with, when we had started the morning session, we had talked about one particular thing, whether happiness is an external influence or my innate nature, isn't it? So, if you look at the gist of what all we are trying to say, we are trying to say that if I'm able to activate the activities in block B1, the source of happiness is inside. I'm always feeling happy within because I'm able to see the reality. I'm able to see the relationship. I'm able to see the harmony. I'm able to see my submergence in space. And that keeps me happy every moment. I'm in a state of bliss. If not, then what to do for happiness? When I look inside, I find that I'm puzzled, I'm confused, I'm not clear. Okay, there are multiple thoughts occurring in me and putting me in conflict. I'm in disharmony. Then what to do? Then I run outside for my happiness. Okay, I try to fetch happiness from outside. And for that, I either try to depend on some sensation or I try to depend on some preconditioning. And this is a common state. Okay, unless my activities in block B1 are activated, for the sake of happiness, I'm looking outside. I also try to look sometimes within me, but I'm not clear within. Okay, so if I try to look into my imagination and try to look into the high level activities, if they are not activated, okay, then again I may enter into a worse state. So this is the way we keep on fluctuating in our imagination, trying to look within for happiness, but being unclear. Okay, I get fed up, then I look outside, I again get fed up because of the dependence on sensation of preconditioning. Then again, I try to look inside, and we keep on, acting. We keep on being active like this. So this is the way we gradually progress to the high level activities, because once I'm able to make out for myself that whatever I try to fetch as happiness from outside is not going to sustain, and there would be dependence. If I can see at the root that basically my whole effort is going to be in vain, because whatever I try to fetch from outside is temporary, is making me dependent on outside, is not going to continue, will not have any definite completion point. Okay, and make me enslaved. If I'm able to see this very clearly, then my effort will be more and more focused towards higher level activities. In place of expecting a good behavior from the other, I'm always able to see my relationship with the other with the current level of competence. And I'm able to see what would be my complementarity to develop the competence of the other. In place of reacting, I'm responding every time. So I'm happy within with the activation of the high level activities. My imagination is always guided by the high level activities. And whenever I'm interacting, it is with this happiness, with this fulfillment within that I'm interacting. If you look into natural acceptance, this is the state that I want to be in. Okay. But it may take time. It does take time. But again, this time factor is dependent upon our own readiness to activate the high level activities. Okay. If I'm just trying to move on in my life with whatever things that are there, I'm just trying to patch up things, then it will take a longer time. But if I'm able to decide for myself that no, I have to ensure continuity of happiness, and I'm very clear that it cannot be ensured from outside. It has to be from inside through my own activities. It's not that the physical facilities are going to make me happy. It's not that the sensation is going to make me happy. It's not that the other is going to make me happy or the rest of nature is going to make me happy. It's me, my own activities which are going to make me happy. If I'm able to see this very clearly, then I become more and more focused on my activities. I try to find out whether this activity of contemplation can be there in me or not. Is it only a word or it has some reality? Okay, so all the time I'm trying to look into what it is. So for example, when I'm trying to look into the activity of contemplation, okay, so I'm trying to look into my relationship. So I try to look into my relationship with my body. Am I related to my body? Yes, I'm related. How am I related? What is my relation with this body? Is it that I'm trying to fetch happiness from my body? Or I'm able to see my body as my instrument for fulfilling my responsibilities to the outside world? Am I related to the other person in my family, my spouse, my child, my parents, my in-laws? If yes, then in what manner? Are am I expecting happiness from them? Are they the source of my happiness? Or I'm happy within and I'm fulfilling my relationship? If I go to fulfill the relationship, then what would be my role? Okay. What would be my role? So you see that unless I am clear about the existence of the self coexisting with the body, whatever I try to do remains unclear. So then I'm able to make out that I have to understand the self. So the more I try to work at the level of contemplation, I get more and more curious about the understanding of the unit. What it is, what am I, what the other person is. Am I the body? Am I with the body? Am I in the body? Now the other person, is he or she also the body, in the body, with the body? What is the reality? Does the relationship exist between the body and the body or self and self? Is self a definite reality or it only a kind of connotation or assumption? I start questioning all those things and I become more and more focused on observing the reality. So this is something that we are trying to do in the morning session also. We are spending 1 hour, okay, but we can take it as a base work and we can spend the rest of 23 hours contemplating upon the reality and trying to understand the reality. So the more I try to look into it, few things will happen. Okay. More and more assumptions or my previous sanskars will surface. They will, come to the surface and I will be facing them. Might be I am carrying some fears, some doubts, some dilemmas, some contradictions. Okay. So they will surface. They are hidden presently. Okay. So they will start surfacing. Secondly, I'll get fresh questions within me. So for example, when we discuss the feeling of trust, okay, we talk about intention and competence. And when we are sitting in the workshop, we say that, yes, I'm able to see now that the intention of every human being is right and only the competence may be lacking. But when you go to live in a family, we keep on getting irritated, angry, okay, and we are not able to map the two. That once I was able to see that the intention of every human being is pure, then while I'm getting irritated, when I'm interacting with my family member, why I'm getting angry with my family member. So most of the time we keep on ignoring all this. Oh, this is life. It keeps on happening. Okay, things are nice. The proposal is nice, right? But it will take time. So how to go about it right now? So I have other things to take care of. I have other things to handle in my life. So gradually our priority slips and we start taking things for granted, and okay, that looseness in our effort sets in. So, but when I'm trying to see the reality, okay, then again, those things that I have listened to in the workshop or in the meeting or read in the book or observed in the video, okay, start becoming more and more clear to me. I am able to now look into the meaning of what is being said. Intention is a word. Competence is a word. What is the meaning of it? Whose intention? Whose competence? What is that reality? Okay. Where is the intention here in this block B1 or B2? So I get fresh questions. How do I relate the intention to comparing, analyzing, contemplation, understanding? What is all this? Where is the competence? So I start getting such fresh questions. And maybe I'm able to resolve within me also. In place of just hanging up with the questions, I'm able to resolve them also within me. So this is the second thing that would happen. In that process, you'll see that your fulfillment with your body, with the other human being, be in the family or the society or the organization where you are working, that will also start getting transformed. Now you are fulfilled within, better than earlier, not completely, but better than earlier. And then you are interacting. So people are able to see a transformation in your living. Now you get feedback about your transformation from the other, and that gives you further motivation to keep on working within yourself. Initially, it may also be the case that when you try to look within and not try to depend on anything outside for happiness, you may enter into a worse state because those old preconditionings, the dilemmas, the contradictions, the inhibitions, all those things are now coming to the surface and making you more uncomfortable. Something that you had forgotten, something that you had tried to omit from your imagination is coming back to you, and it may frighten you also. That will also happen. So in place of just roaming around into those old sources of unhappiness, again, at the same point of time, try to look into your natural acceptance. There is no achievement in just trying to mingle with all those things that have passed, but they will come. They will anyway come to you. When you start observing, they will anyway come to you. But at the same time, when I look into my natural acceptance, okay, I start getting resolved. So this is another word of caution that when you are trying to look within and you are getting caught up in your old miseries, something that you have tried to forget, something that had made you quite miserable in the past, no need to struggle with it, but just observe it. Was it my lack of competence or intention? Was it the lack of competence or intention on the side of the other or not? What had gone wrong? Okay. So intention was pure. Once you are able to see that intention remains pure, intention is very much pure. And we all are struggling with our own sanskars. We all are struggling with our lack of competence. And that's how we are reacting in relationships. It may be low or high, the reaction. Okay. It might have been low on your side, higher on the other side. Or it might have been higher on the other side and lower on the other side. All those things might happen. So this is another word of caution that when you are trying to look within and your old miseries are surfacing, when in place of getting caught up in that, you try to look into your natural acceptance. You try to contemplate in the same situation. What was my role there? What was my intention there? What was the intention of the other there? And then you may be feeling resolved at that point of time. But you will have to go through all this. We try to avoid things which make us unhappy. And whenever we try to look within, we might get caught up with such old sources of unhappiness and we might try to escape that. But today or tomorrow, we'll have to pass through that. So when I try to contemplate, these would be certain things to take care of. But once you are able to contemplate upon any feeling or in any given situation, once you are able to see that yes, intention was pure, the competence was merely lacking, then you might cross certain thresholds also. Now you no longer fear looking to your imagination. So you might also cross some thresholds. That gives you further motivation to go ahead. And this is the way we keep on working within to activate the high level activities. And we can very much see that this is only going to be the source of continuity of my happiness. There is no other way. So we have to look into this permanent solution in place of working with temporary solutions. G. Any question regarding the discussion that we had so far? You can raise your hand and ask.
Yeah, I have a question.
जी भैया.
We normally prefer to talk to people those you are those who we like mostly, and those
Yeah,
who
can you be louder?
we don't like. We talk, but we do
तारा
not,
भैया.
talk like the similar way we talk with others. So when it happens, is it the
तारा
indicator
भैया.
that means we are struggling on contemplation, or we are yet to establish contemplation within us?
Maybe you are using earphone भैया. Your voice is not very clear, even low. तारा भैया.
Am I audible here now?
हाँ, now you are audible.
Yes. So what I was saying, that, we talk to some people like whom we like. We talk in a different way, and normally we don't like. We talk in other way. So is it like we are struggling on contemplation?
Yeah, if I'm not having the feeling of relationship with the other person, then it is certainly to do with my lack of competence. Talking in some other way may also be with the feeling of relationship because the other is not able to accept my behavior, maybe. So I may be talking in some other way. For example, a person might be there who feels very friendly with you. So you may hug him, okay, you may greet him in some manner. There's some person who is having a feeling of competition or envy, something with you. If you try to hug him, then he may take it otherwise. So my expression might be different with different people, depending on upon our state of competence, our past, okay, all those things. That may be due to multiple factors. But I can make out very much that whatever I am expressing, at the base of it, is it feeling of relationship or opposition? Ji. Like, for example, there is a baby. If you lift your own baby in your arms, the baby will feel unhappy, will feel happy. है your spouse will also feel happy. But if you try to lift the baby of some other parent, the same response may not come. So our expression with the feeling of relationship may be different with different people at different times. Nice, Bhaiya.
Hey, Bhaiya.
Namaste.
Bhaiya, when you are explaining all these things, I just want to know this intention and competence, when we talk about these two things, can we anyway map it with B1 or B2? Because when you are telling, when we get, you are talking about the questions that we will used to get. And in that, like intentions or something which I assume to be an innate thing, which is obtained from the natural acceptance of mind. And how does this B1 and B2 has a role to play with the intention and the competence, Bhaiya? Can you please explain?
Yes, Didi. So potential for B1 is intention.
Okay, Bhaiya.
And the state of B2 is competence. So even if I am not able to contemplate on the relationship, I naturally accept the relationship. Even though I am not able to understand the self, I naturally accept to understand the self. So this natural acceptance is very much there in me. And when I try to work on that natural acceptance, that only helps me activate block B1. So the potential to activate B1 is there in me very much. Okay. But I have to activate it. And even though it is not activated, the potential is there. And that potential reflects as natural acceptance in you. So I naturally accept relationship. I naturally accept harmony. I naturally accept coexistence, even though I'm not able to understand them rightly. If I'm able to understand them rightly, then block B2 is guided. If not, then it is unguided. So block B2 denotes my competence, the way I am working within. And the same thing would be expressed in my behavior, work, and participation. So this is the way it is.
But Bhaiya, when we say about the intention, what I can say is I generally take this intention when I go on with trust. I would like to see the intention of mine and the other, and I evaluate the trust. So, but how can I relate this intention to all the other levels also?
Yeah. So what is trust? Trust is a feeling that I naturally accept and I can contemplate upon it. So it is the foundation of relationship. When I try to look within and try to look into relationship, I'm able to see that I want to make the other happy. This is acceptable to me naturally, and the other also wants to make me happy. So this ability to see the want is contemplation. So I'm able to see the intention of the other. I'm able to see my intention. Okay. But it may be the case that even though intention is pure, I'm not able to see. So that means that the contemplation is not activated. When I'm able to see, it is activated. Similarly, I'm able to see my complementarity with the other, with the right evaluation. Even though I'm not able to see that intention is there, I want to complement the other. I want to rightly evaluate the other. I want to feel the relationship with the other. I want to take care of the body of the other. I want to guide the other. I want to feel grateful to the other. All those things are there at the level of want, at the level of natural acceptance.
Okay, Bhaiya. Okay.
So I want all those activities. I want all those feelings in me. But presently, it is at the level of want. It is not at the level of content, this, my competence.
Okay, Bhaiya. Thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you.
Nice, Didi. Yeah.
Yeah, no, namaste bhaiya. Good morning, everyone. I think audible bhaiya.
Ji, audible. Yeah.
Yeah. So, bhaiya, this now the state is after the event. This is happening bhaiya. Still, that disturbance is there. What I'm able to see in the relationship, in the family, in the fulfillment part. It is now something like the event happens, and then I try to understand that why this has happened, and so I could have not done this way. That reaction part is still there. Oh, yeah, that's what is there with me right now.
Yes, yeah. So once I'm able to see that I reacted, so I can also see why I reacted. So
Okay.
I'm able to see that the other person wanted to make me happy, but he or she was under the influence of some preconditioning,
Okay.
some sensation, because of which the behavior was not proper. It might be the case with me also.
Yeah.
So mostly we are interacting with some expectation from the other
Yes. Okay.
without contemplation.
Oh.
And that is the source of trouble in the relationships. Whenever I try to work at the level of expectation without contemplation, I am trying to taste the behavior of the other in accordance with my own conditionings.
Oh.
So I want the other to speak at a low voice. I
Yeah.
want the other to, or I desire the other, I will not say want, I desire the other to act in a particular manner, do something for me, obey me, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm not able to see my role in ensuring this kind of thing. I'm not also able to evaluate my own assumptions, my own expectations. They may also not fall in line with my natural acceptance. Yeah, so this is something that I have got to observe.
Okay.
I think when I feel related low, so I'm able to accept the lack of
Yeah.
competence of the other also,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
right?
So.
And then I'm able to make the right program with the other.
Yeah. But the program now has happened now here. That is the disturbance is there. So next time I know try to do that. I try to improve upon, but still that at this position at the past that has happened already, and now this is also disturbing me. So that's what I am able to see right now.
Yes, yes. But we do not need to stop. Sometimes, no, it does happen that we observe the lack of competence within, and then we accept that, yes, I am incompetent.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And then we do not go further.
Fine, fine.
It's just that, yes, and then we accept our fault. Earlier, it was so happening that we are trying to look into the fault of the other. Now we are
Yes.
accepting our fault also. Okay.
Yeah.
But that is also not enough. I have to see
Yeah.
my role. If this was not correct, what was correct? And then you will see that it might be the case that earlier you made a blanket statement for you that you are preconditioned, right? But when
Okay.
I try to look into your role, you may feel that certain assumptions have to be carried upon, okay?
Yeah.
Because you have to take care of so many things.
Yes, yes,
What
yes.
exactly went wrong,
Yeah.
you are able to make out now.
Right.
So in place of making a blanket statement about the other or myself, I'm able to see my role, okay, in the given situation.
Yes.
Always try to see what is my role there.
Right. Right. Okay. This acceptance is there happening there, that there is lack of competency in me in that situation. But now to go further, that's what you just said. I need to look in. Yeah. Thank you.
So what will do I role with competence?
Yeah.
If that was reaction, then what was the response?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. We can always ask ourselves, if that was a reaction, then what was the response?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Right.
Might also not be clear about the response. So maybe we can see that, yes, the situation in the family and I was not very good, it became bitter, right?
Yeah.
So I was reacting, I should not have reacted, but that is not enough. If I did not have to react at that moment, what would have been my response? That I have to take out.
Right. 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 Okay. Thank you.
Nice, Mia.
Nice.
There is one question when I'm doing imaging and when I'm analyzing, what is the difference? Yeah. So at the level of desire, we are able to work at the level of feeling. So when I'm imaging with some feeling. So imaging and contemplation are related. Contemplation is to see the naturally acceptable feeling. Imaging might be without contemplation. So again, I am active at the level of feeling, which may be unguided. When I'm analyzing, I'm trying to look into the bits and parts of the situation or the activities. So the feeling is there at the base, and with that, I am looking with the bits and pieces of a particular thing. So some incident happened. Okay, I'm analyzing that incident, why that happened, what the other said, what I said, what the things were, what was there at the background. Okay, what was my assumption, what was the assumption of the other. This is all that I'm trying to analyze. But whether I'm analyzing with a feeling of relationship or something otherwise, that I have to see. So this imaging is, I want to be something, okay, as a human being, as a relative, as a unit in nature, as a member of society, something I want to be, okay. What I naturally want to be is not clear, but what I want to be, I'm trying to image it. Okay, I'm trying to put in effort. So there comes the feeling. When I'm analyzing, I'm only looking at the bits and pieces of a particular thing or a particular situation or a circumstance, whatever. G. Any other question? So nice. In fact, we'll keep on referring to these activities again because what essentially we need to discuss is the high level activities. Okay, can we resolve the situations in our life through the understanding of these high level activities by their activation? Nice. So maybe we can go to the next slide, Bhaiya, if there is no other question.
जी भैया भैया I want to ask another question here.
G.
Like what are the indicators through which we can say that yes, we are in a state of understanding or contemplation or realization?
Yeah. So one thing would be when I able to see, I have that assurance in me that I can see. So assurance would be there, isn't it? Out of that assurance, the fulfillment will also be there. And I'm able to see something similar as a program for every other human being. So that clarity will also be there at whatever level I am living. So that will be there. So whenever I am trying to imagine something, okay, with contemplation, with understanding, it will have that clarity, no confusion, no contradiction, no fears, no dilemmas. This is something that I can see from the other side. So that means that I'm clear, I'm resolved. And it's not that it's going to happen in a very binary kind of manner, that all confusion going to zero confusion. It's not like that. Gradually it reduces. Okay. And then gradually we are able to contemplate upon some natural acceptable feeling and then other feelings and so on. So gradually we keep on developing and our fulfillment goes up, our assurance goes up, our uh, clarity goes up, and the lack of clarity comes down. Our resolution goes up and the confusion comes down. This is something that I can observe within. Earlier, when I was facing some situation, okay, I was very much perturbed, but now I am clear. One word of caution here is that it could also come out of some conditioning. I can now face the same situation very easily, which I was finding it difficult to face earlier. But it may not be certainly owing to contemplation or understanding. It could be because of some conditioning also. So there I have to make out that my state has changed owing to some conditioning or due to activation of high level activities. For example, we start assuming certain this person is like this only, and he can never change. So when the other person is shouting again, right, we try to ignore. So we are not that much perturbed now, for example. But this is not contemplation. I've got condition to accept it. So I may get condition for my body. I may get condition for a particular human being. I may get condition for the situation that I am in. I may get condition for other things also in my life. And people are doing like that only. They accept and they go along. Okay. So accepting is fine, but getting condition is not fine. So accept the situation as it is. But I keep on questioning my role in place of assuming something and just going by. So this is something that I have to make out again. जी तारा भैया.
The way up to contemplation means it can be observed or means somehow uh, I am able to observe. But when it comes to understanding or realization, it is may not it may not be very clear, and it happens like means I'm slipping from this contemplation to majorly comparing testing is fine. That I can see many occasions and feelings at the level of contemplation also fine. But when it comes to understanding a relation, I feel difficulty to observe directly. Yeah. But what you said, that's absolutely fine because I can see, like you said, we get conditioned for many occasions for individuals or for uh, things. Rightly said. Right.
Yeah. So we have to make out the difference between accepting and getting conditioned.
Yeah.
I accept the other person with the current level of competence, but did not get conditioned. Conditioning is something else. Accepting is something else. G. So the basic thing to understand is, what am I? The self. So this understanding of the self helps me understand other things in the nature also. Because when I'm able to understand the self, I'm able to understand the consciousness. Then I'm able to see the difference between consciousness and material. And I'm able to understand the material also. Okay. And when I go to understand this, I get some further inquiry into the existence. And then I have to see how this self is there in existence, being submerged in space. So that takes me to the state of realization. So what is my role is contemplation. Now, as a part of understanding what am I, is something to do at the level of understanding. And how am I submerged in space is something to be seen at the level of realization. Nice, Bhaiya.
Thank you.
So in this slide, we can see what is the full expression of human being. So we are all in this process, okay, working for it. Only that we have to make out where do I stand today. So at one end, we are trying to work for realization within, okay, trying to see the coexistence. At the other end, we are living in accordance with that. So we are expressing it. So these are two ends. And this is very good thing to see that if I'm taking care of both the ends, my progress would be definite or more guided. It may be the case that I do not express outside, then I may get confined in some place and just try to look into the relationship or harmony. But we miss one important point. When I'm trying to look into the relationship and I'm not fulfilling it, can I see it? Or I'm only thinking about it, I'm only analyzing and comparing about it. Similarly, when I'm not living in harmony and I'm trying to understand harmony, can it actually happen? So working at both the ends is very important. So at one end, I try to keep on activating the high level activities, trying to reach the state of realization. At the same time, I keep on interacting with my body, with the other human being, with the other units in nature, right? And trying to validate whether it is there in my living or not. And the more I'm able to contemplate, the more I'm able to understand, right? My expression becomes more definite and I'm able to interact with more number of people in a very definite manner. And I'm able to see my role in the undivided society and universal human order. I'm able to see my role in human tradition. So whenever I'm taking some decision, I look into two things. One, is it guided by right understanding? Second, will it lead to human tradition? So this gives me a kind of checkpoint for myself. I may assume that if this is guided by right understanding, but will this lead to human tradition or not? So if it does not lead to human tradition, then I have gone somewhere wrong. I may assume that this may lead to human tradition, but it is unguided by understanding. It is only something that I have tried to devise at the level of thought. So questioning within myself, right? Am I able to see the reality as it is, and will it lead to human tradition? These are two ends. As a co-explorer, we all can take into account both the ends. So that's why we say that participation in the larger order will help you contemplate your value, your understanding, contemplate upon the reality, understand the reality. So the more we participate in something which is guided by right understanding, it will help us develop further. So that's why this participation is very important in projects, in activities, something that may take us to the state of undivided society, universal human order, leading to human tradition. And it will come naturally also. If I'm not working only at the level of thought, my participation also comes naturally. I have 24 hours in a day. What will I do in those 24 hours? Okay. Either it will spend in disharmony or in harmony. When I try to spend it in harmony, I'll naturally participate with members in my family, with members outside my family. It is very natural. I do not need to make any extra effort, some additional effort. I can question for myself, right? Am I rightly utilizing my body? Am I rightly utilizing my physical facilities? Am I rightly utilizing my time? Okay, if not, then I have to make it happen. I have to work for it. So this is something that I can keep on questioning within me and keep on trying for right understanding every moment, keep on participating in human tradition every moment. And that will give you assurance within. Presently, when we are losing these two ends, then mostly we are getting engrossed in temporary things. Okay, the interaction with the other human being, the availability of physical facilities, the conduciveness or lack of conduciveness of the situations outside, and so many things, something which is very temporary. When I am trying to focus on these two ends, I am able to see the continuity. So that helps me further to focus on continuity in place of temporariness. And that is a very major shift. If I'm able to focus or take that shift from temporariness to continuity, okay, you'll find yourself in a different state. Okay, because the body is temporary, the interaction that I'm doing with the body are temporary, right? The fulfillment that I'm deriving from outside is temporary. But when I'm trying to focus on the continuity, it takes me to a different state. So think about it, contemplate upon it, Nice. So I think all these activities have been explained. I do not need to explain the various bases of comparing. Tara bhaiya, that has been explained, no?
Yes, great.
Ji. So we only have to decide for ourselves when I'm able to work at these two ends or not. Ji. We can go to the next slide. Then. This has been discussed, bhaiya, or I have to discuss afresh?
Yeah, it has to be discussed, right?
Okay. So what we can do, we can start the discussion tomorrow because we have to discuss so many things here. Those who have been attending the workshops regularly are acquainted with all these words. Otherwise, it will take some time for us. In the meantime, as a homework, what you can do, you can look into this slide and try to make out the meaning of every word that is written there. Even in the current slide, you can try to look into the meaning of every word and try to relate it with other words. Okay. So, like when we are saying comparing, coexistence, harmony, and justice guided senses, health, and profit. What does that mean? Can I relate it to my day-to-day life? Can I relate it to my own expectation, my own imagination? Okay. Goal and value guided sensation. What does that mean? Okay. So am I testing the goal? Am I testing the value? Or I'm only expecting the sensation in my testing? So all those things we can try to make out. We keep on saying this undivided society, universal human order, but we may be having so many apprehensions or doubts about it when we get to see the news that is coming from the world. We can see so much of disturbance, so much of war and all those things. So we also might assume that, okay, these are good things to discuss, but whether it is going to happen or not, I'm not sure. So we might be carrying such doubts, such apprehensions also. So that also we can look into that. Do I feel that I can have a definite role there or not? So try to look into each and every aspect of what is being written here, and then we can discuss it further. In fact, in exercise 1 and 2 also, we are going to discuss it further, but we can start it doing right now. And do maintain a journal. Those of us who have joined for the first time can maintain the journal and keep on noting their observations. That will really help you. What was your state 4 months back and where do you stand now? You can very much make out. So it is going to be time. We'll continue with the discussion.